Rising. Mr.
Ah,
Jackson.
what's
How you
up?
doing?
Oh,
What?
so you got the babies with you, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna
Okay. How old is
use the
he?
bill.
She? He?
He's
How old is
what are you, buddy? You're about 14 months? Yeah, 14,
he? Oh,
13
really?
months.
14 months. Big
Yeah,
fella.
yeah. He just
Huh?
started walking. Yeah. Say
All
hello.
right.
Say hello. He's
Yeah,
still,
I
Hello,
you,
hello.
he's
you
still
know,
processing.
is that Bill?
Yep.
Hey,
Yes.
Bill. How's it going?
Okay.
Hey, I see Kasiki's here.
More at the policy, one's more at the policy level, one's more at the implementation level. And it's like, these devils we're dealing with, we could have policy and they not enforce it. And
Yeah,
then you could have and then, it comes in who's the public administrator, and then you could have the public administrators, but not have the policies, right? So, um, we kind
that's
of
why I
do,
don't. That's why I don't get too heavily into politics.
yeah.
'Cause there's a lot to digest. You really got to have the time and the mindset
Well,
to really, get involved.
Well, we have to play, yeah, we have to play it at both sides, not just with the Democrats, but the Republicans as well, because they're both been screwing us at the top, right?
I heard it said
Get
that
get our piece of the
their
pie.
wings on the same bird.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes. And that bird is the Zionist kind of more state of Israel and Ukraine white supremacy bird, um,
see, and that's the thing, man,
at the highest.
uh,
Yeah.
with this politics. The simple fact that Trump is still in office, it just boggles the mind, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
so
it makes me at least continue to question the validity of the system itself. Something quickly from John Henry Clark that somebody posted, and I've seen it before, but it's relevant.
yeah,
African people can have a golden age or another age of continued despair, depending on how they view themselves in relationship to the totality of history and its ironies. The cruelest thing slavery and colonialism did to the Africans was destroy their memory of what they were or what they were before foreign contact. You know,
right, that part. And
yeah,
that's this whole education system what they're trying to take Black studies, they got whether it's critical race theory, African Americans or Africana studies out, our school system. I heard they're trying to change the Pledge of Allegiance, and our kids get indoctrinated at a young age, right? We get with Santa Claus, Halloween, but also that, oh, you open the book, you see us as slaves. You don't see anything before then, the thousands and thousands of years of king and queen. So a lot of them are subconsciously feeling inferior. Um,
that that has become my mission for most of my life. People would ask me, "What's your purpose, John? What's your passion? What are you passionate about?" And for the longest time, I could never really pinpoint that. But today, because of my own life experience, my passion now is to reach out to. Well, let me clarify a little more. Because I went through most of my life oblivious to what was going on in the world and my people, with myself, my history, all that stuff. Just, not cognizant of it, not aware, not in touch with it. So I went through most of my life, you know, blind. And so now my passion is I don't want other people to do that, to go through that. And so my passion now is just to try to get the message. I know everybody doesn't want to hear it, you know, but the thing is I'm gonna put it out there. I'm working on my book that's coming out now pretty soon, a couple of months. And in addition to the book, I'm also crafting an 8-week online course on reclaiming your history, claiming your identity, so on and so forth. Uh, and just doing what I can because, at my age, I'm, I'm catching up. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to do what little I can, to hopefully make a difference in someone. Who knows? Maybe I can touch someone who will become the next Malcolm or the next Martin or the next, Huey, whatever,
Okay.
that person. Brother Kasiki,
Mhm.
Brother
Hey,
Bill,
hey, hey.
Brother
What's happening,
John.
brother John? How are you, bro?
John,
I'm
how
doing
are
good.
you?
I'm doing good. And Brother Bill, there you are. Hey,
Yeah,
how are
yeah.
you? Yeah, good to see everybody. That you can make
You know,
part
it's
of the show.
interesting.
And,
You're just talking about John Henry Clark, and I saw
uh,
something where he was speaking the other day. Well, he wasn't speaking the other day, but it was something I saw the other day, and he was talking about how over the centuries, white men had been invited in for dinner,
right.
and you know, I was thinking about the symbolism of the movie Sinners
Uh,
and the fact that vampires have to be invited in. They they
yeah,
they they can't come in without an
Yes.
invitation.
yeah,
Yes.
And that's exactly what the white man has done everywhere he's gone.
yeah,
He's been invited in for dinner and then he doesn't want to leave.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
So
You've heard the saying. Oh, go
we
ahead.
can't invite him to the cookouts anymore, man.
Yeah, and I think Sinners kind of, that latest movie Sinners says the same thing, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, we invite them in as missionaries. They do it as missionaries.
Yeah. Was
Yeah.
it was it was it Tutu, Bishop Tutu, I think, or somebody? I've seen it, the reference a lot of places.
Oh
They
yeah, about
came,
when they
they
came,
came,
they brought the Bibles,
right,
and
and they
we
closed
had the
their eyes
land.
and prayed, and when they opened their eyes, we had the
Yeah,
Bible and they had the land.
Uh-huh.
yep, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
still, I don't know how true this is, uh, but I've checked a couple of sources, and of course, some people are going to say something different, but the mere fact that we as a people, I hope it's true, that for the first 200 plus thousand years,
Mhm.
the African was the only people on the planet, right? And
Mhm.
to think that during that 200,000 years, that they didn't do anything of importance and significant is the lie, that they have permeated our minds with through media, through all that stuff, through books, just everything. And we are so disconnected from our history, from
Mhm.
our people, from our origins, that we don't have a clue to the potential that really resides in us, as a result of our DNA, our melanin, our connections, our history, all this stuff. We're just blind to a lot of it, you know?
Mhm.
Because I think about, I would like to think that had I known about John Henry Clark back in the day, or all these other scholars, Joseph Ben Jochannan, you know, Francis Cresswell, had I known about these people and had listened to these people back when I was in high school, I'd like to believe, that my life would have turned out completely different, you know?
Mhm. Well, I think you have the experience of both sides, like in the front
Yeah,
end. Now you got the back end to apply it to everything that you knew, and that and now to learn and could teach people how more to be miseducated and
yeah,
decolonize the mind now. And that's
right.
like I'm not sometimes we also have our parents, right? They're supposed to instill some of this stuff in, but they were lied to too.
Right.
And it's like it's not, it's now people are starting to see we can't trust the media, we can't trust all these politicians, those school books, textbooks as voted on by the school board and superintendent that are miseducating our people. And yeah, and it's like it's hard to, we as much as we want to blame ourselves, this is purposely, intently
Yeah.
were lied to and left out, and being hidden from us, right? Um, they pay for it. They're strategizing, every year, 5 years, 10 years, how to keep this stuff and keep the knowledge away from us and suppress us. And it's like, it's hard for us to blame ourselves because it's been, that's one of their key agenda is to keep us asleep.
It's not so much about even blaming ourselves,
Yeah.
just understanding.
Yeah.
Like Philippe Matthews always said, ain't nothing wrong with black people, but something happened to black people,
Mhm.
And that's the thing that we got to get in touch with. It's not so much, putting everything on the white man, but if you don't understand, well, again, I'll quote somebody else, Neely Fuller Jr. If you don't understand white supremacy, what it is and how it works, then everything you think you understand will only confuse you. White supremacy is at the core, and I don't even like to use the word supremacy. I started saying dominance because that is a fact. They are the dominant people on the planet. They're everywhere. They run everything. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
There's no denying that. But I heard another. I think she's Angela the prophetess. She posted something a few days ago that I took to heart. She said, not white supremacy, not white dominance, but white narcissism.
Mm.
And when I had to go really look up that word narcissism to really understand what it means, and the definition of it is like so point on with this system and with that knucklehead we got in the White House. Narcissism explains him to a T,
Yeah.
To a T.
Yeah,
so that's
Big John, I have to disagree with you respectfully in terms of how
that's okay.
how we've been conditioned, like the brother's talking about, right? With the guilt, with the guilt, it starts with the church. You're born a sinner. How the fuck are you born a sinner? You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
So what do you disagree with?
the idea that they run everything, because I'll give you an example. France is about to collapse completely. You know what I'm saying? Because of what Burkina Faso did and the countries in the Sahel. So I don't know if you guys ever watched a documentary on how the Jews spin everything.
Yeah.
It's one of the fucking scariest things you're gonna see.
Yeah.
Because every time that the Jews kill a Palestinian, they have an excuse for it. No matter who it is. And then no matter what other people do, it's always wrong. And now, so we have to understand that the people who really run shit in the world, not in this country, is us.
Right.
Without our fucking sweat, without our backbone, without our sweat equity, they have nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But we've been conditioned to always, because John, you know how I feel about this shit, man. We have been ruled and governed through force and fear.
Bullying.
Ain't been no democracy and none of that shit. And see, a lot of black people are confused about what white supremacy and racism is.
Right.
And I teach that when we look at we have to learn to develop our own language, right? Because when white people look at racism, they see somebody or a group being harassed by another group. That's their experience with racism. Our experience with racism is murder, lynchings, assassinations. So we have a different experience with that word. And so when we allow other people, right? My name used to be Luis, and I used to be Puerto Rican, but I changed my name to Cacique, and now I'm a Boricua. Because self-identifying is another thing. Look at what the fuck is going on with black people in this country. They've been called black, Negroes, colored, niggas, African Americans. Guess what the new name is? There's a new name out now that most people don't even know is coming. You know what it is? Foundational Black Americans. That's the new term.
That's Tariq Nasheed. That's Tariq Nasheed.
Guess what, though? Guess what? These are all names that we have accepted for ourselves. Like in my community is Hispanics and Latinos, but we're neither one. But everybody runs around, oh, I'm a Latino, I'm a Hispanic. No, no. See, these are names and labels that have been given to us. And if I can create your identity, John, I can create your reality.
Right.
So we run shit, and we got to change that narrative from what they run everything to what we run shit. I don't think we should be voting. You know, like they want us to vote. I think every black and every good person in this country should register as an independent. And you take the power away from the party because they know who's going to win before the first vote is cast. It's not a secret. It's not a trick. It's not a mystery. With all the surveys, they know. And you know, here I had this conversation with my son this morning about numbers. White people are into numbers. They're into
stats and
analytics.
Analytics
is the new word, right? But what does number mean to white people? What is that? At the end of everything, what does it mean? Money.
Put me out, John.
Yeah, is that your house? Wait a minute.
Yes.
That's my Bediaco. Okay, he made it. My brother down from Atlanta. All right.
Yeah, first time.
Yeah. This here brother here, boy, this is one of them guys, you know, he didn't met all the heavyweights. He didn't had personal interactions with Francis Cresswell Elsing and John Henry Clark and Hilson been in person. So this brother here, he's a goat.
Nice to meet
one
you.
of the goats. Yeah.
Outstanding. Good to see you.
Good to be seen, brother. Like I said, good to be seen and not viewed, right?
Yeah.
Once or twice a week. And then also the RBG Fridays, if we could start getting people to wear red, black, or green, any combination, red and green, red and black, black and green, red, or all red, all green, all black, either combination on Fridays just to show our national solidarity. And then we could work on other things from there. But it's a simple thing that doesn't cost money, but it's something to show solidarity and getting us unified Umoja. And I think if we,
I like that. I like that. That's how you start off unity. Yeah, that's how you start off. You're doing simple things.
Yeah. So I'm going to make an infographic and I'll share it with you guys through email, you and Minister Bill, and hopefully you guys could share it.
Okay.
And kind of like a little flyer, it says RBG Fridays. Let's get on message, because that's one thing that make America great is white supremacists. They're on code, they're organized, and they're on message, and we're kind of scattered, right? The UQ Arma. So I think this will be the easiest thing at first, and then we could build off of that.
Piggyback on something that Damani said.
Make sure you get that out, because I definitely want to get that out with people that I communicate with.
Okay. Yeah. And if we can't get that together, we're in trouble. I mean, if we can't get, sad to say, if we could only.
Damani mentioned Kwame Ture and organization. You got to organize. But Kwame also said, after you organize, you got to mobilize.
Right. That part.
Yeah.
And so we'll work on that. So one is, starting to organize, and then we'll mobilize and start with our next move, because we got a couple of them. We got to play chess, and they had the Project 2025. They have a 2030 plan with the World Economic Forum trying to control everything, and we got to have our own. It might be us, because some of these black leaders in these other organizations are really puppets, right? And they could have come out with African American 20, or what's our 2010 plan. We always coming out with a report of what's after, but are we thinking 5 or 10 years ahead, right? It's like Mr. Bill read, as some of y'all read 2000 Seasons, we need to go on the offensive, and we need to get ahead of the enemy.
I have it, but I haven't finished reading it. Yeah,
that's good.
Brother Johannes.
Yeah.
So just spit a little something, man. Just share yourself. Right, cool.
Okay. My name is Brother Yohanse Bediako. I am a Khan priest from a Khan tradition from Ghana. I've been initiated and trained in the Khan system. I've been a Pan-Africanist. I've been African-centered for a very long time, since I was 17 years old. And at that young age, 17, 18, 19, I've been blessed to meet some of the biggest names in African-centered thought. And I mean, actually been around them, talked with them, eat dinner with them, and been a part of my life growing up. And Dr. Ben, I know Dr. Ben. Dr. Clark, I know Dr. Clark. Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, I know Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. Dr. Leonard Jeffries, Dr. Jacob Carruthers, Amos Wilson, I knew very well. Mama Marimba Ani, I know very well. These people have shaped my life at a very young age. And I don't know if many of you know Samaj. He's a very popular brother jeweler. He just recently made his transition. I knew him very well. So I've been very lucky to have been around these people in their heyday, and being able to talk to them and have shaped my understanding, my awareness in my life. Once I actually started this journey, the more and more, and I should say, the more in the beginning, I was very confused, right? In the beginning, I was very confused because, you know, I like most of us, I grew up as a Christian, and I was very confused. And so I sat with myself and talked to God. And I was like, look, you know, I always tell people this story of mine. I would say, look, I'm not folding my hands. I'm not getting on my knees. I'm not doing nothing like that. You know my heart. You hear what I'm saying to you. I am confused and I need clarity. So now I'm not going to wait for you to give it to me. I'm going to go look for it. But if you want me to be a Christian and you want me to have this understanding, then you will guide my search. And the next day, one of my good friends just came out of the clear blue and brought me Sheikh Anta Diop's African Civilization, Myth or Reality. Then the next day, another friend of mine at the time that had a very popular traveling bookstore gave me Stolen Legacy. You know, then the next day, my brother-in-law found out that this was the path that I was on, and gave me Destruction of African Civilization. And so within the week of me doing that, I got these significant books. And you know, my clarity, you know, my awareness just grew from then, and I haven't turned around. I haven't turned back since. You know, it's important, particularly now. Now is extremely important for us to be clear about who we are, what our destiny is, and what our path is. Because the internet and AI is being used as a tool to further our confusion. And yeah, and it's really damaging because, you know, Neely Fuller, who I also met, wrote a book. Yes, I met Neely Fuller back in back in like 98. I was in DC and I met him one day when I was talking with Dr. Welsing. And Dr. Welsing I knew pretty well too. Neely Fuller writes in his book, if you do not understand white supremacy, what it is and how it works, then everything you think you know will only confuse you. And because we have people who perceive that they are knowledgeable of who we are, and they are considering themselves as aware and enlightened. And because they're not clear about white supremacy, what they're doing is further confusing our people. And with the advent of the internet and AI, it has given them more power of influence because of what they can do with AI. You know, they can make things seem true in our history by creating false images from AI, and people are being convinced to follow this very false and very confused perspective. And so, and I'm just saying right now, it's important for us to not be afraid, to go where the truth takes us. Yeah. And so that's a little bit about me and what I do.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate your input. Yeah. I'm a little bit jealous. And that was what I was sharing with the brothers earlier. My mission now at this late stage of the game is because I didn't have the kind of experience you had coming up. I didn't get that information when I was young. You know, my passion and what I'm very passionate about is trying to get through to younger people, you know, to begin to not go through their life like I did.
Meerkat.
Yeah.
You know I'm saying? To not go, I didn't wake up till I was 65, right?
Yeah.
I was 65 years old. So 65 years of miseducation, misdirection, deceit, you know, thinking I knew what was going on and I didn't know shit. You know what I'm saying? Right. A lifetime of that. I don't want to wish that on any of my young brothers and sisters. Y'all need to start doing some research.
Yeah.
Start doing some read. You know, if you don't want to read, then find you some people on the internet that are giving the right information. But then how you gonna know they're giving the right information if you ain't reading? So,
exactly.
You know, it's a hard task because everybody don't want to hear it.
Right. And that's the important thing. I think when we, you know, the thing is in what we do in trying to bring awareness to our youth, is we have to understand the dynamic in their world, right?
What do you
mean? They are bombarded 24/7 with the wrong shit. 24/7. you know, and we have to understand that. So with that constant bombardment, there's going to be a natural rejection to what we're saying.
Right.
Cognitive
dissonance.
Right. And so what we have to do, and that these lessons, when we talk, and this is why it's so important for us to have clarity about what we understand. When we talk, we have to almost try to find a way to ask them questions that when they attempt to answer the question, they will see. Because if we keep talking to them and saying this is this, their minds, one of the biggest issues for us as victims of white supremacy and gone through oppression is we've lost our ability to connect common sense with practical information. We've lost that ability. And so this society is a society that manipulates the masses of people. I mean, it manipulates white people like that as well, like this, as well as us. And that is, it manipulates us and makes us have a feeling intellect, a emotional intellect. We want to hear things that we think makes us feel good, right? Makes us feel good. And instead of what is real and what's in reality. Right. And so we have to find a way to talk to the youth to break through the feel-good intelligence. And one of the ways to do that is finding ways to ask them questions about whatever it is, the way that they think, or put, whatever we want them to know. Just ask them, why do you think that? Where do you get that from? And those that causes them to think. And when they attempt to answer the question, and it's a, because our children, we don't control our children's life. We don't have the same kind of context. We haven't built the same kind of context in our culture as the Jews have. The Jews had the capability of controlling their children's life from birth to college graduate. And that maintains what we call an intergenerational transmission of whatever their cultural values are. Wow. Whatever their cultural values are.
Say that again. Say that again.
Intergenerational transmission of cultural values. And the only way you can create that is you have to control the context of the culture. And they do. They got schools that their children go to. What's the Jewish college? Yeshiva. And they, so they control. Now, the only problem with us is we don't necessarily have an understanding. We don't have a common understanding about our cultural values. Even people that call themselves African-centered or Pan-Africanists, we don't have a continuity of what that is and how that should be. So it's very hard for us to create this context of intergenerational transmission, but that's what we have to do. You know, that's the context, you know. And I talk to my friends, we're constantly talking about the issues and the conditions that we have to deal with our children. And these are children that grew up in African-centered families. They haven't gone to church. They haven't gone to church, but still the dominant ideology still gets to them. And main reason that is because even though all of my friends and we all are African centered, we didn't send our children to African centered schools.
Right.
You know, we didn't do that. We don't have a place to send our children for them to constantly be, you know, bombarded or constantly dealt with around our values. And that's something that we have to try to do. That's difficult, but that's why it's called struggles. that's difficult, and that's what we got to do, you know.
I like what this one brother says. We are captured, cornered, and corralled behind enemy lines every day of our lives.
Right. We are, out of all African people, we are we're in the most difficult situation, but that makes us the most aware. African Americans, particularly those African Americans that seek to become African-centered and Pan-Africanists, are some of the most aware and brilliant Africans on the planet, you know, because of our condition. You know, Africa,
and resilient, brother, resilient.
Yes. I mean, our energy is so I don't want to call it powerful. I'm gonna call it influential. Our energy is so influential that no matter what it is, our negative behavior, people all over the globe want to duplicate. Right? And what we do positively. When I was in Ghana, the last time I was in Ghana, I got in an argument with some young cats because they were calling each other's niggas and couldn't speak English. And I was like, what are y'all doing? You know, and you know, and I had to inform them. I was like, yeah, you know, hip hop, African American, yeah, that's us. But all of that is not good.
I think the message we got to push, I enjoyed the conversation. I think the message we got to push is Dr. Francis Wesley message that we are at war. If we all not on the same page that we are at war, and we're having behavior as if we're not at war. I know y'all know what I'm talking about. We have our behavior saying we're not at war. And we understand, you know, if we understood the message of George Jackson and some of the revolutionaries, these people are white supremacy. These people study military science. And these people are engaged in, you know, Frantz Fanon said, colonialism is complete control of the people and their resources. Colonization is the organization and the maintenance of domination. Like you say, the Europeans use military science. That's all they know is military science. That's all they know is the organization and the maintenance of domination.
Right.
And I think we got to teach our young people this stuff, the different tactics and strategies of domination. You know, in military science, you have a tactic called subversion. Subversion is the tactical deployment of propaganda, the tactical deployment of propaganda, and be it social, economic, to I can't think of what I'm saying, to basically control what the people think, and to it's almost a camouflage what they're doing to win the people over to think we are right with you guys. What's the word I'm looking for? It's to bring about your compliance to the order. It's to bring about your compliance to the to what the state is doing. But anyway, I digress.
Co-optation, they come in and try to mimic your language and then gently lead it somewhere else.
Right. Yeah, we under reform counterinsurgency. And reform counterinsurgency is we're going to take your breakfast program that the Black Panthers started. We're going to co-opt it. Your clothing closet. You was doing for self. Now we're going to co-opt it and make it a federal program. To in the prisons, what they did, they had a medium, maximum, medium, and a maximum, medium, and minimum security prisons. And in the medium and minimum security prisons, you get more rights and privileges. You know, you had George Jackson and the hardcore revolutionaries are in the maximum prisons. And so to separate the brothers from each other, you give them more benefits and more you bring in college programs. They had their own I can go on and on. Anyway, in the prisons you had your own
so you too,
institution. You had your own teaching programs. You had your own programs. You had your informal educational programs. Well, sword shopping sword, and then all of a sudden they want to bring in college courses. At first, you know, brothers were teaching each other. But anyway, the main thing is understanding we are at war.
Is very interesting because because while I was in college, I was very much so African centered. While I was in college, I can probably give you the month and almost the day that the music industry switched to gangster rap music. I can almost give it to you. We literally went from 1 week listening to X-Clan, Public Enemy, KRS-One, De La Soul, all of that, to the next week, NWA, 2 Live Crew. And degenerated on after that. I can put it, and the deal is this, the generation of the content of rap music, the generation of the content of rap music is the perfect example of the fact that white supremacy is actually trying to control us. Because you have to think. I remember opening up a CD of KRS-One, Kool Moe Dee, Rakim, X-Clan, and there's another one I can't remember the name of. But when we opened up their CD and started reading who produced what, each of them had a book list of the books that they were reading.
Really?
Right? Now, this is what was happening in our community in the 80s with rap music and rappers. Rappers was creating rap songs that was sampling, Minister Farrakhan's speeches. Right? These rap, our youth at that time was walking around with the popularity of Malcolm X did not start among the adults. That started among the youth, because the youth was influenced by these rappers and a lot of them were in the Nation of Islam or they were from that kind of condition. And so Malcolm X all of a sudden became popular because our youth did it. And this is what was happening. Walking around with medallions of Africa, and all of these kinds of things, they could not continue to allow that to happen. They had to crush that quickly. They had to crush that quickly. They couldn't afford to hide it. Right? To hide. They was like, we gotta crush it quickly. They couldn't even afford to hide it. They just openly, all of a sudden, gangster, thug, street life became the thing, to the point that it degenerates to the point to today having this hoish image among our women,
right,
and this constant over sexualization that Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion will be bumping vaginas on a national television show. And the way that it will be portrayed and talked about is as if that's an act of empowering womanhood.
Go ahead, Bill.
Again, it seems mainly a seizure of the conversation channel. That is where they displaced conscious rap. They basically just took over the channel, and instead of their conscious rap, just knock that down, play this only. Okay, and as you say about Cardi B, etc., it's the same flooding. Let's flood with all this junk and distract people from anything that might disrupt our plan.
Right, and it's interesting because watch this, right? It's a very simplistic plan and strategy for us to overcome all of that. But we gotta have the discipline to do it. There is a television show, even though I heard this before, but there's a popular television show called American Gods.
I saw some of it.
Right. And there's the brother, I can't remember his name. He played one of the gods, Anansi.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And Anansi, while he was in the hull of the slave ships, was talking to the slaves. And he said the most powerful weapon of the oppressor is the minds of the oppressed. Right?
Yeah.
Now, and this is very important for us to understand and us to deal with. Dr. Karenga, when I was listening to a lecture, Dr. Karenga, we understand all of the history and issues that he has, but he said that the white man's most powerful weapon is not his guns, his tank, his FBIs, his bombs, or anything. It's his ability to make us think that his thoughts, ideas, values, and wishes are our own. So how do we combat this? The very simple thing is, and this is what Dr. Karenga said too, he said, you have to reject everything they say, then work to rebuild your understanding of reality through your cultural paradigm, your ancestral knowledge. And he's like, if the white man say 1 and 1, he said white man say 2 + 2 is 4. You say no and reject it, then go and work it out and prove it to be right for yourself.
Exactly.
And these are the things. So on a simplistic basis, the first thing we have to do is decolonize ourselves of what we have come to know, what is true and what is not, and start working on finding that out or proving that out for ourselves. So if we come down to uh, uh, um, ideas of how to be an artist, for example, right? Then we need to reject the whole idea, oh, artists, we're not responsible for raising your children, what Charles Barkley talked about as an athlete and all that. So we gotta reject that, and we have to say, okay, in our own ancestral cultural paradigm, what was the responsibility of artists? And when we look at historically what our artists was responsible for, even in our oppression, artists always addressed the context and the issue of our society. Every last one of them. Always.
Okay.
Always.
And junk usually gets rejected.
Yes.
But, the two things that just keep gnawing at me are, one, this whole slew of ads, they're starting to shift them from Progressive Insurance, saying, don't be like your parents. Oh, so you're going to listen to these people selling you money, just gambling on your life and taking your money to say, oh, don't listen to your parents, just buy a policy, pay up. That's crazy. And then, there's the long-standing themes throughout Hollywood, just denigrating scholars left, right, and sideways. Anybody who's a scholar must be some kind of misfit. But see, don't listen to them. They're just a joke.
Right. And that was a good thing. This was happening when we were in college. We had the discussion, about Spike Lee's movie, Do the Right Thing. And me being, African-centered, very much so African-centered at that time. And I said, Spike has his finger on the pulse of the African-American community, but he's not conscious. And if you look at Do the Right Thing, the African-centered thinker in the movie was a person that they looked at as being dogmatic or over the top, and his name expressed that, right? So the African-centered thinker in Do the Right Thing was the brother who used to always, Sal, why ain't you got any black people on the wall? And his name was Bugging Out.
Okay.
Right?
What?
His name was Bugging Out. That's what the character, his name was Bugging Out. Giancarlo, yeah. Who was an extremely good actor. I love him.
Yeah,
but but his character's name was Bugging Out. And I was like, why would Spike name the African-centered thinker in the movie Bugging Out?
No, never gave that any thought. Never.
Right? And now watch this. And he was badgering this white Italian that had his store, that he should put some black people on the wall, but this white Italian very much so supported the community. He hired Mookie to be in his shop, which his sons wanted him to fire, but he would not fire them. He would not fire him. And every time the local kind of homeless guy, which was played by Ossie Davis, right? The mayor, whenever he came by, he always gave him, a little task to do to pay him some money. So this white Italian guy actually supported the community.
Yeah. He was also being supported by the community because they would.
Right, but he was also being supported by the community. So now what that did is that made Bugging Out actually seem from this would be from the common person that's looking at the movie, like he's bugging out. It's like, look, dog, why you hassling Sal? Sal ain't the store you should be hassling. right?
Yeah.
So and this is what is always shown with whenever you see a movie with this so-called Afrocentric or African-centered person, there's always going to be this aspect of your position has a flaw in it.
Let me raise a point here. That personally, I'm 72, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm born in 54, right? So I come up, and I'm sure, Johannes, you know a little bit about this. Everything that came across the airwaves was white, white, white. I grew up on Leave It to Beaver, the Donna Reed Show, My Three Sons, Andy
Father knows
Griffith,
best.
the Beverly Hillbillies. Wasn't nothing black. I was inundated and loved watching those shows, and laughed at Leave It. You know what I'm saying? And just not knowing that I'm being subliminally, indoctrinated that white is right.
Yes.
Not knowing it. It's just, and then when I look at TV now, because I find myself, I'll sit up, I got a couple of streaming sites. I find myself just kind of flipping, what the, ain't no black heroes, ain't no black superheroes, ain't no black detectives, ain't no black, nothing. It's all about white people.
Yes.
And if there is something black, it's garbage.
Yes.
It's garbage,
Bro. Oh my God. Yes. Now
we got a few standouts here and there, but for the most part,
right.
It's us portraying ourselves as gangsters, thoughts and hoes. What do they say? Nothing really positive, uplifting and saying, "Oh, I want to be like that,"
Yes. That's the thing. Like I just yesterday I was watching an episode of this series that's streaming called Harlem with Megan Good in it.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it.
That's a fine sister.
Oh my God. Yes. Yes. But it's crazy sexualized.
Yeah.
That's like, that even though it's trying to show these black professional women, like Megan's Good character is a professor at Columbia University. But they are crazy sexualized, and I'm just like, damn, is there anything else that they can talk about other than how they screwing a man and the fact that they want a man or they want some sex, or that's all. I was like, this is really crazy, and this is very common. The same thing was in the movie by the television series by Issa Rae, Insecure. That was a soft pornographic movie. It's a television show, right? And I was just like, and so when you say, are there any black heroes? There's no black heroes now, other than when you get to the Marvel kind of stuff. But even those heroes are problematic to me. I guess I have a problem with Iron Man is white. You made him white, to make him black now.
You mean Captain America?
Yeah, Captain America is white. You made him white.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do a black superhero, make a new one.
Yeah.
We don't need to blackenize these white characters
No.
that when the children go to get the comic book,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's a different kind of thing. Even though they're trying to do it in the comic book too, because in the comic book, Iron Man is black now, and
Really?
yeah, Iron Man. The matter of fact, Iron Man is not just black. Iron Man is a black woman, and they got a television series of her too.
I seen that one. Iron Heart.
Iron Heart, right?
Yeah,
Iron
I seen
Heart.
that one.
The update comic of the Iron Man update comic is now Ironheart and is about her. You know, but this is the thing, you know. And this
what's that, Bill?
You know that's Baba Greg's daughter producing that, right?
No, Baba Greg.
Yep. Former Minister Greg, that's his daughter producing Ironheart.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Tanaka Hodge.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, and Disney is known for that. You know, I'm a very, you know, I like to, because I don't think we can submerge. I think submersing ourselves into fantasy is dangerous for as an oppressed people. Submersing ourselves in fantasy is dangerous, you know, and that was one of my issues with Black Panther.
Yeah.
Right. I got in arguments on the internet over Black Panther so much because of my position. You know,
what was your position?
Well, everybody was hyped because Ron Coogler directed it, and all these black stars was in it, and I think Ta-Nehisi Coates may have written it or something like that. And I was sitting up there and I was like, he didn't write it. He did not write the movie. I was like, and Coogler was handed an already written story. Black Panther is not an African American written story. It was created by a white man, Stan Lee's partner, in 1961. And all of the stuff that we hyped about Wakanda, that white man wrote in the story in 1961. Ron Coogler didn't put none of the stuff in it that we all hyped about. Ron Coogler did, or Ta-Nehisi Coates didn't write none of that. All of that was written by that white man. Vibranium coming and being a part of it. Wakanda not wanting to share their technology with the world because they thought white people was yeah. You know, I was like, that white man wrote that in the story in 1961.
Hey, check this out. Check this out. So back in 76, 77, somewhere around in there, I read this book called None Dare Call It Conspiracy. And
it wasn't a book. It was a article in.
No, it's a book.
Oh, wow. Book. So they made it a book. Okay.
Actually, 78-page book.
Okay. All right.
78-page book. But the one thing that I took from that way back when that still, you know, stays with me today, one of the things he said, there's always throughout history that someone who's trying to conquer the world, right? Always. Hitler tried it, you know, Alexander the Great, whatever, all these various people, Mussolini, all these different guys wanted to conquer the world. And the other thing he said that really stuck with me too was about media. I didn't pay attention as closely as I should have, but it still stuck with me. Is that they use the media to lull you to sleep.
Yes.
You know,
Definitely.
Yes.
basically. So
Yes.
that's why I find myself now watching a lot of YouTube stuff. I follow a lot of different people,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
that are talking about stuff. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
Mm-hmm.
to help, you know, because like I say, I'm not the greatest reader. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the stuff I get on YouTube, you know, I'll sit down and do some Google search on it, or I might have a book, or they might have said something that referenced the book, you know. But you know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm very, like I say, I got a lot. You grew up in this, Johannes. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just there's just so much that I like your sister. Your sister. I got those books off her shelf, man.
Yeah.
Yes, she
Yeah.
finally let
Yeah.
me have all those books. And
I
you know,
told her. I told her to give them to you.
oh, did you? Okay, she
Yeah.
oh,
I told her. I was
because I
like,
first,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I have them. And I've only read a couple of them, you know, because there's a lot. But
Yeah.
and I'm steady getting other books, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
like I just ordered the whole complete set of Dr. Claude Anderson's books, you know,
Oh yeah. He's good.
Powernomics and all the little
He's
secrets
good.
and stuff, you know, but they're still just sitting there, man. You know, I'm just, oh, man, I'm telling you, it's just,
Well, well, the way that you are getting information is not necessarily bad. Just because you're not reading books, it's
no,
not
no,
necessarily
I'm not
bad.
saying it's bad.
You know, most of us learn through
Vision.
dialogue, conversation.
Yeah,
You know, I read a lot of books, but my most of my clarity came from sitting in Dr. Ben's office and listening and talking to him.
yeah,
Going to lectures, you know, going listening. That's where most of my development actually came. That's where you hear some of the most enlightening kinds of information.
yeah.
And so that's not necessarily a bad thing. You
No,
know, it's just, you know, we, you know, the it's just that we want to have access to their knowledge in a book for ourselves,
yeah,
because you
yeah.
know that way we can, that's how we preserve that information, you know. But is not necessary. I ain't gonna say it's not necessary, because we want to read,
Yeah, we
we
want
want
to.
to be able to, we want to be able to read.
It
And you know,
exercises the brain,
right,
the mind, rather.
we want to exercise the mind, the brain, the whole intellectual and
Yeah,
conscious experience, you know. But yeah, these, you know, this stuff, you know. And I'm afraid that and what and getting, I'm afraid that the fantasy is really taking over us, because you're going to find that the most popular thing, like I used to, you know, one of my issues, and it's not my issue with Black Panther, actually it's my issue with how we reacted to it, right? Because we didn't
oh, no,
react that.
I got my t-shirts and all that. You know,
Yeah, I was
I'll run
like,
around
I was like,
here.
I was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, you know, I said, yeah, Marvel definitely, you know, hired a all black cast. Yeah, they did that, but that's not a true story.
Yeah,
That's not a true story. Like, I think we should have got just as hype over Coming to America in that case. You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
But no one got hyped like that over the movie,
Oh, the movie what?
right? The movie X, Spike Lee's movie about
Spike Lee?
Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you
no
think
one
about the
got.
movie Sinners? What do you think about the movie Sinners? Kugler just did.
Okay, Sinners. I liked, because of the things that Coogler was trying to say, but it reflected Coogler's consciousness. Coogler is not he's not African centered, right? He's trying to be. And the movie reflected that from my perspective. But most people aren't African centered. So the movie was spectacular to them. Let me give you an example. Right?
Well, he's supposed to be him and the other character,
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. They're supposed to be coming up doing a movie on Mansa Musa. So
we're gonna see how well
that turns out.
He does with that. You know, but let me give you an example. All right, he did a horror movie about vampires, right? That's what Sinners was.
Yeah.
Now, the context of a vampire is sunlight and a cross is supposed to be the thing that defeats them in garlic, right? Now, what he did which I liked, is he played down the Christianity's effect on the vampire. So there was no crosses and none of that. But I'm like, you put African spirituality in the movie, but you didn't give it power. You didn't give it power. That sister, when that vampire came to that door, they should have recognized each other because of her power. Her spiritual African power should have saw him, and he should have got scared.
Yeah,
like he would.
That's a good point.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what spiritual tradition did he give power to? He gave it to the Native Americans. Because they
in the beginning,
they were hunting him down.
Hunting them down.
He was running from them.
Yeah.
He was running from them, and they were hunting him down. Now, why did he give them that power? Because he knows how strong Native Americans believe in their own stuff. So he doesn't understand. He doesn't have a connection to our spiritual power. So he didn't give it power. He just gave it relevance, which is the whole ancestral memory piece with when the brother sings, which is the most powerful scene in the movie, when is the brothers singing and all of a sudden the spirits of the ancestors starts to come alive in the juke joint, and they're all dancing with everyone in the juke joint. That was powerful.
Yeah.
But that didn't have any power in the movie.
Yeah.
They couldn't use that. They didn't use that to fight the vampire. I was like, use that.
Right.
You know,
it's always interesting to hear other people talk about stuff, because other people just see things in a different way. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, but I have to, and I'm recognizing that, one, I am an traditional African priest. So I'm looking at the movie from someone who practiced this tradition in his life. And so I see it and that has been something that I've always would like to have seen from even when I first started being conscious really young. I was always wondering when someone would do a vampire movie where an ankh is a symbol that will reflect the vampire, or something like that.
I actually watched Blackula last week. Anyway,
yes, Blackula. I
know it's a comment.
but you know, and that's the time period of it. And you know, and Blackula was extremely popular.
Back in the day.
Back in the day,
Well, we
Blackula
wanted
was
so
extremely
bad to see
popular.
ourselves on screen.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
we didn't get
yeah,
this long as he was
yeah. That
blacking on the big screen. You know, it didn't.
yeah, yeah. And that was really reflected with Mario Van Peebles,
Yeah,
Melvin Van Peebles movie.
sweet,
What is
sweet,
it?
sweet back,
The
Mhm.
Sweetback's
sweet
Badass.
ass song. Yeah,
When I saw that, I was like, this is terrible. I was like, this is the worst piece of shit I have ever seen. I was like, but we wanted to see ourselves on the screen so badly that that movie was a big hit. I was like, I was like, Dolomite was better than that to me. To me, you know. But it was a terrible movie, man. Mario Van Peebles was very much so influenced, and he said this. He's very so much so influenced by pornography, you know, and all of that. You know, it was terrible. It was really bad.
I
It
saw
was
that. I
really
saw
bad.
that movie. I saw that movie at the drive-in in the back
Wow.
seat of my neighbor. I was in the back seat with my older neighbor upstairs from me, Margie
Mhm.
and what's whatever his name was. But I'm
Mm.
sitting in the back watching that movie, hard as a rock.
Right. Because
I'm a kid.
that's all all that's in the movie. I was just like, you know, he
Yeah,
should have
I had
just went
dreams
on and
about
just
that
made
shit.
an adult movie.
Yeah, I had dreams about that stuff,
Right.
man.
He should have just went on and made an adult movie. And now and a part of the black exploitation film, when we look at them, this sex thing kind of was always in it, you know, because when I grew up, everybody, you know, Pam Grier, everybody was like, oh, Pam Grier, Pam. See, as a young boy, I didn't particularly like Pam Grier that much because I mean I thought she was fine. No, don't say that, but I didn't like her that much because I thought that she was being too sexualized in the movie, you know, and I was like, oh, she just sex, right? As opposed to what's her name that played Cleopatra Jones, who I was
Tamara
madly
Dobson.
in love with, who I was madly in love with, right? See
Yeah.
that was a different images. She wasn't being raped by no white man and all of that. You know, that didn't happen in her movies. You know, but in Pam Grier movies, she was always on the scene, always on the screen naked with something
Yeah,
when you know with some
them
white
big old,
man and
yeah.
yeah, her breasts, you know. So I wasn't liking that, you know. But you know, but our exploitation movies, you know, always kind of had that kind of stuff in it, you know.
Okay, Bill,
And
just hold it for a minute. So you want to say something before you go, Bill?
It's been great talking with you. Again, I think our central points are those basics. How can we build up knowing that everything above that base level is going to be attacked? Well, all of it's going to be attacked. So get the
right,
base right.
right, get the
Okay.
base right. And you say, you know, and I think, and my thing is I would think that we need to try our best to do things with our youth. You know, that's
Yeah, I really appreciate what you're saying about framing for them in terms of questions that they can answer for themselves that will then
right,
bring them right back to where we were. And
Right.
then find them, we are on the same page. As much as those lies like to tell them otherwise, we're really on
yeah,
the same page. Okay, try this answer, go see how that works for you. And then we'll talk
right,
again and see what result you got. Okay?
right, exactly. And that's how we have to deal with it, because if we try to drum the information to them, they're gonna reject it. they're gonna reject it.
They got 900 voices saying that all those gray beards are irrelevant and out of date and obsolete, and don't listen to them. Yeah.
Right.
Just because they've been where you were, that doesn't mean anything. Yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah.
You know, actually, I need to go too. We've been on this thing since 10 o'clock. So,
okay.
But Johan, brother, I'm so glad you showed up, man. You know, we do this twice a month.
I've been meaning to show up, and I just kept forgetting, you know, and I almost forgot again, you know. So I'm gonna
try to send out a text the same day, but anyway.
I got So I'm gonna set my calendar now, and so my calendar will let me know, and I can come in at the beginning.
The first and third session. So the next meeting is going to be on March 7th. Yeah.
Do you have like a subject matter that kind of sets the tone?
Not so far. We're just building. You know,
we're just building. Okay.
We're building right now. Just trying to get people to show up first of all. You know, because like I said, I sent out like 27 invites, and you know what we had.
Well, that's about this. Your percentage rate is about right. That's about how many is going to show up when you do that. Because I was getting ready to say you didn't have a bad crew. How many was it? 6, 7 of us.
6, 7 of us. We've had the most we had at one time was probably the first one, but that's probably because James Smalls was on it. You know. So we had like 12, 13, 14 guys.
Yeah, I know Dr. Smalls too.
Yeah, I know him. That's who I went to Africa with.
Yeah.
Oh, and before you go, brother, so how's the thing coming on your move?
I will be out of here in January 2027.
Really? So, okay.
I'm gonna be.
Where are you headed? Where are you headed?
Ghana.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah, I got a lot of friends that lives in Ghana, so
okay.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to it because I'll be 27, so I'll be 73. So hopefully I'll still be in good shape. But at least if you're there, I don't have to hop on no tour and pay no $7,000 to $8,000 to come. I can just get on the plane.
Let me tell you. Not only when you're there, because I have just put, I just put a down payment on my land, so, but I'm building a compound, and my compound is going to have obviously my main house on it, and then it's going to have like 10 or 12 bungalows on it. So not only will you be able to be taken to spots without going on a tour that I'll be able to take you around, you'll have a place to stay, so you won't have to pay all them exorbitant hotel fees and all that.
Oh yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Absolutely. Yeah. But anyway, I need to get out of here too, man.
All right.
But keep coming back, man. I'll keep sending them out. And and invite, because you can invite anybody. It's all for men. So if you got other...
Oh, that's good. It's only men? Oh, that's
only
good.
Men.
Yeah. Okay.
That's good. Only men.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, only men.
I'm going to send out to some of my friends too and try to get them to come in.
Yeah.
Also. Yeah.
It's all about learning and connecting, and who knows what somebody's going to say that might spark somebody else to do something on a major scale, So whatever.
Right.
But anyway, brothers, like I said, I got to go. My wife got my wallet and got the car.
And gone.
Yeah.
Got the car and the credit card and on her way. Okay.
Anyway. All right, brother. Appreciate you, man. I really thank you guys for showing up, man. Have a great day.
Thanks.
All right.
Sure.